Hi everyone, today I want to show you how to add Google Auth to your Expo React Native Apps. So first off, I'll just create my app, so I'm just doing Expo init, and I'm choosing a blank app. So I'll go and install. And once that's done, we'll want to change into that directory and install this Expo package, Expo Google App Auth. So now that's done, we can start making our app. So open the app.js, and this is the file that I'll be changing. All my code will exist in here and it'll be pretty simple. So first off, I will want to have a button that when I click on it, it prompts me to log into Google. So that button is going to have a title. So when there is an access token present, I want it to say get user info. And if there's no access token present, then I want it to show login and prompt the user to press it and log in. It'll also it'll also call different functions depending on whether there's an access token or not, but I'll get to that later. So you can see that I've got this access token that I want to have, and that will be in state, so I'm going to set it up now. So what I'll do here is I'll use React state to so that when I set the access token using the set access token method, it'll trigger the update to the UI. So I'll set it to undefined initially because I haven't passed a value to use state. And I also want some user info as well. That's also going to be undefined, and it'll be set when the user clicks on the button once there's an access token present. Cool, so now that I've got all that, I can start defining my functions. So my first function will be for signing in to Google. And I'll also create another function that will get the user data. And if I've gotten user info and there is user info that exists, I want to show user info, so I've created a function for that as well. So when I press on the button, there's different functions I want to call depending on whether the access token is set or not. So if it's set, then I want to call get user data, and if it's not set, I want to prompt the user to sign in with Google. So now I'm going to show you how to add Google sign-in to your app. So first off, you want to import from the Expo package that you've installed earlier. So Expo Google App Auth. And then within the sign-in function, you can call the login. So await Google login async. You'll want to pass this an Android client ID and a iOS client ID. You'll set those up on the Google website. In just a minute, I'll show you how to do that. And you want to specify what scopes you require. So these will be like the profile, and anything about yourself. If you wanted to be able to use the Tasks API, you could include that scope as well. Same for calendar or email, or even Google Docs. But for mine, I'm just going to keep it simple. I just want them to log in, and I want to be able to get their username, their email, and their name. So if the result's successful after calling Google Login, then I want to set my access token. If it's not, it'll mean that the user's exited out of logging in which case I'm just going to log that the user exited, so permissions denied. But you could do whatever you want with that. So now I'm going to go show you how to set up the client IDs. So first you'll go to the Google Developer Console and the Credentials page. So you can create a new project like this, set the name. Select the project. And you'll need to set up an Oauth consent screen. So if you try to set up a Oauth client ID first, it'll tell you that you need to configure the consent screen, and you can click on that button. You can fill out this form. And give in your contact info. Not sure why that's erroring. I've filled out everything and it was working a bit earlier. But I can try again. It could be just because I've got no billing for this account. So I'm going to switch to another account I have billing set up for. So now when I switch to this new project and go to set up the Oauth consent screen, you set up the same information again. On the next step, you would fill out scopes and You would also fill out any test users you have, and then you'd be able to sort of complete the form. Seems to be giving me trouble right now. I'm not sure if it's just an issue with Google at the moment. It was working a bit earlier, but that's okay. I've got one set up that I can add some new client IDs to and show you how to set up the actual client IDs. So go to create credentials. First select your project with the configured screen, and then go create credentials. So I'm choosing Aauth. I'll just give it any name. This isn't shown to users as it says below, so it doesn't matter too much what the name is. You get the bundle ID from the docs, but it's host.exp.exponent. And that's all you need to create your Aauth Oauth client ID. So if you copy and paste that into your code, then you can go and set up the Android client ID, which is slightly different. So go create credentials once again, and Oauth client ID. This time choose Android app and give it a different name. But the package name is the same. Need to generate this and copy and paste it across. So just a note, I did actually put in the wrong package name. You should use the one from Expo. I haven't shown the Android one working in this demo, but I suspect it wouldn't work because of my mistake there in the setup of the client ID. So now I want to create a function. Well, now I want to fill in my function for getting user data. So what I want to do is I want to call a Google API with my token. So I'll do a fetch to the Google API that I want. And I'll pass in a header, which is the authorization token. So those are backticks there that allows, it's called a template literal, and it allows you to access a variable inside the backticks and form a string out of it. So it's pretty cool. So I want to get the JSON and set the user info state when that's all good. So I'll call set user info, and I'll use the data that I've gotten from the Google API to set that. So I've also got this other function, show user info. So if the user info is set, I want to show the profile picture, name, and email. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. First off, I'll call that function. And if there's user info, then I'll return some components. So first up, I want an image. I haven't added image yet, imported it yet, so I will do that now. And I haven't done button either, so I should also do that. So I want to give that a source, a URI source, because that's what I'll get back from the Google API. I'll give that a style, which I'll define in a moment. Then I want to show welcome to the user. And I'll show their email. Cool. So I think we just need to add the styles and then we'll be ready to run. So just want a width and height of 50 for the profile pic. So the code looks pretty complete and I'm ready to run it. They'll open the Expo Metro bundler, so you can basically, when this is running, you can open Expo on your phone and you'll be able to load up the app. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so here's my app. I'm opening it. And when it loads, you see a login button. So if I click on that login button, it prompts me that Google wants me to sign in. And so it loads up a Google Auth screen and I can choose my account and log in. It doesn't seem to be working because I'm noticing that the get user info isn't coming up on the login button, which it should. So I'm just going to debug and show you guys a bit about that. So you choose to debug the remote JavaScript and you open your inspector tool and open your code source. I've brought up my phone alongside so you can sort of see what's happening side by side. So I'll set a breakpoint where the access token's being set or got, just because I'm obviously having some sort of issue there. So now if I click login and sign into my Google account, I can see that our access token's undefined at this point, and it's because I'm actually supposed to set the access token to be the result.access token, because access token isn't been set and that's actually the value I want to set. So just a little bit of a mistake there. So if I refresh my app, it should work fine this time. So it refreshes, and when I log in, You can see that I've got success and my access token is set, so this should work this time. So now I've got a Get User Data button. If I click, it shows my user info. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And all my code will be on GitHub.